Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday, or whatever day or time it is by you. My name is Keith, and I am your meditation teacher here on this channel, Meditation Break. So if you're new, this channel is all about learning meditation and learning the different things you can do with regards to meditation. So a lot of us get into meditation to relax, right? It's kind of the most common entry point. Hey, Pat. But there's so much you can do, right? And everyone here is here for a different reason, right? You're interested in meditation for a different reason. And so we like to spread it around a little bit. What's my last name? Frets, like guitar. So every week, we kind of follow a similar cadence. We'll start by introducing meditation. So if you're new, like you've never meditated before, maybe you did it once a couple years ago, I watched a video about it or whatever, like, don't worry. You don't need any sort of background knowledge to participate in this class, to benefit from it. We always start with the basics. What is meditation? Why does it work? How does it work? Why do you bother? Right? Which is, I joke, but like, that's a really important question, right? We have a finite amount of time. Like, is this something we want to dedicate our time to, right? And after that, we're going to do a short breathing meditation together. Very short. It will not be long. And then after that, we're going to talk about a specific topic. This is kind of what we do every week. We look at a different topic, and then we'll discuss and meditate on that topic. And today's topic is one of my favorites to teach, to meditate on. We'll talk about when we get there. I'll talk about how, like, at first I was like, it seems kind of corny, but if you only do one type of meditation for the rest of your life, this might be it. This might be the one I suggest. So that's a little preview of what we'll get to later on in the stream. Now, if you are new and you have questions, ask. You don't have to wait for me to be like, hey, it's Q&A time. You can just put those questions in the chat like you see people are doing, and I'll answer them as soon as I'm able to, or I notice them. If that is not something you want to do for whatever reason, cool, doesn't matter. I'm going to give everybody my email towards the end of the session today, and you can email me any questions that come up. Cool? All right. So, what is meditation? All right. So, like, sometimes when I ask this question, some people are like, let me think about it. Like, what's the first thing instantly that pops into your mind? Right? Hey, Janice. Somebody sitting on the floor like this, right? That's what we think about. That's what we'll call our generic image of meditation, right? We have a generic image of many things, right? Like if I was like, picture a tree, right? Your mind, you can picture it, right? So this is kind of our generic image of meditation. Now, you can meditate sitting on the floor with your eyes closed, etc., etc., but this is only a way to meditate. It is not really the definition of the act of meditating, right? So what is the definition of the act of meditating? Meditation is a technique that we use to train our mind to become really familiar with something. That is not the most helpful definition, because you're probably thinking, the heck are you talking about? I don't go around saying I'm going to familiarize my mind with how to solve this puzzle or whatever, right? But our mind is becoming familiar with things all day long, right? We're learning all day long. Now, similar to how our mind is learning all day long, our body is also learning through familiarity all day long. So a really good way of starting to make this connection between familiarity, which is a huge, really important like concept and word for meditation. It essentially is like analogous to meditation, or synonymous. They're the same. We can think about becoming really familiar with like a physical activity, right? So, what's a physical activity that you're super familiar with? How about walking, right? Now, barring any injuries we may have incurred, we're probably pretty familiar with walking, right? If I were to ask you to go walk over to that area of the room, I was like pointing to it, you could do it. You wouldn't have to think about, I have to move this foot in front of that one, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm putting this much pressure here. No, we don't have to think about that anymore. Why? Because it's like second nature to us, right? It's super familiar. All of the mechanics that that are required for us to move through space with our body, it's very familiar to us right now. Maybe you have some home videos or whatnot of you when you were a child, and it didn't look that easy, huh? Like you were tripping all over the place. I have my brother and his wife just had their first kid. They're learning to walk, and it's not the most graceful presentation of walking, right? But what happens? A little bit each day, we're practicing. We kind of, let me try this like that. Oh, that kind of worked. Oh, that didn't work, right? We're learning. We're becoming familiar with all of these mechanics needed to walk. And then slowly, over time, it becomes so familiar to us that like the thought of not being able to do that in like a second nature type way is really hard to imagine, right? Mary, hey, welcome. I'm glad you're back. So this is an example of how our body and our mind become really familiar with an activity and the result of that, right? So the result of becoming really familiar with something is you don't have to try as hard to do it. It doesn't take as much effort, as much energy, as much thought, right? It just kind of flows. It just kind of happens. Right? So now let's go back to the meditation realm, kind of like what we're trying to accomplish here. And we'll talk about relaxation. Somebody mentioned relaxation as like a touch point for what meditation is. Yeah, meditation is an amazing way to relax. So, is meditation relaxing you? It's actually not. So, sometimes we think, meditation equals relaxation. If I meditate, I'm relaxed. What is actually going on here is meditation is teaching you to become super, super familiar with relaxed you. Relaxed you? It's in there, right? It's in there, and we want it to just show up like second nature, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Right? And when we meditate, we're slowly building up this familiarity with this version of ourselves, right? And you might be thinking, hey, I don't know, I'm not that relaxed a person. It's in there. If you're honest with yourself, there's been plenty of times in your life where you've kind of embodied that relaxed, patient, peaceful vibe. And so meditation is not relaxing you. You're already relaxed. Like the being you is already relaxed, right? It's in there. What meditation is doing is helping you become so familiar with it that it starts to show up with less effort. The same as walking, the same as riding a bike, the same as tying your shoes, right? And we're looking at relaxation in this example, but the same is true for all things that we would like to learn, right? Being kinder to others or ourselves, right? If we're really hard on ourselves, right? For our whole life, we're really hard on ourselves, right? We set like a super high bar. right? And then we're like, man, I don't really want to do that anymore. It's hard for our mind to just shift gears, right? We have to kind of train our mind to become really familiar with thinking in a different way, right? And so meditation is one of the best ways to help train your mind, right? A little callback to our last class. If you're new, you might want to go check that out, because there's a lot of different ways we can meditate that aren't sitting down on the floor with our eyes closed, right? That's a very traditional way, but it doesn't work for everyone. For whatever reasons, they have bad back pain or something like that. It doesn't mean that oh well, I'm not going to be able to do this, right? Everyone can do this, because anything can actually be meditation, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that and do that right now. So how do we meditate? Right, that's kind of like what meditation is doing, but how do we do it, right? Hey, Zach. We're going to start, and almost all meditation journeys start with breathing meditation, and for good reason. Breathing meditation is a very it travels well, which is a really good lesson to learn early on. You don't need any sort of special conditions in order to meditate, to benefit from this, to do this, to train your mind, right? Like you just need a little bit of patience and your breath and some time, and you can do this, right? So now I mentioned that there's a lot of different types of ways to meditate. Breathing meditation is focusing single-pointedly on your breath. And the result is that you being so single-pointedly focused on your own breath that all the other stuff that's normally bouncing around your mind, there's not as much room for it, right? So, I got to worry about work. What am I going to make for dinner? I got that event coming up that I'm a little nervous about. Like, should I do that? Like all these things that are going on in our mind constantly. It's like we have a finite space. I keep using this analogy of furniture. I don't know why. But like, imagine your mind is like a room. There's only so many things you can put in there. So right now we got a bunch of little things, little knickknacks in our mind, right? And so we're going to purposely, intentionally put a big piece of furniture in there, right? We're going to focus on our breath. That's going to be our only focus. So much so that there's no more room for all those other things. So that's kind of basically what we're going to do here with breathing meditation, how we're going to do it. Breathing meditation is just meditating on your breath, right? We can meditate on anything. We can meditate on walking. We can meditate on riding a bike. We can meditate on painting. We can meditate on lifting our arm up and down, because the only thing that is required for something to be meditation, 3 things, right? 1, choosing to focus on it single-pointedly. Seems like a kind of why even bring that up? But sometimes we do this accidentally. Right? We'll be working on something at work, right? We're really plugged in. We don't hear it. What happens? We don't hear any other noises. Maybe we have knee pain. We don't feel it. Someone calls our name. We don't hear it. These things happen, right? It's almost like an accidental kind of meditative state, if you will. But we want to train our mind to do this, right? Not just to do this whenever it randomly happens, but to do this, right, when we want to train. So we're going to intentionally choose to focus single-pointedly on our breath. And that just is you making a little promise to yourself. I'm going to try to do this to the best of my ability. That's all. That's step 1. Step 2, while we're doing this, and I'm going to lead this meditation, so you're not going to be on your own. But while we're doing this, when you notice, and I say when because it's going to happen, don't worry about it. This is very normal. When you notice your mind is drifting a bit, you're thinking about work, something you got to do later, something somebody said. Our mind thinks about all these things. Whenever you notice that, we're just going to be like, not right now. That's our little saying here, not right now to those thoughts. We are not saying those thoughts are meaningless or unimportant or bad. We're just saying, not right now. Mind. Our mind's kind of like is like a poorly trained pet, right? We've been letting our pet get on the couch for, however many years we've been around, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, I don't want you to do that anymore. Pet's like, why? I always do this. So we have to train it, right? So we're going to be like, not right now. And then step 3, we're going to bring our attention back to our breath. That's it. Choose to focus single pointedly on your breath. Notice when your attention drifts, bring your attention back. The goal here is not to never get distracted. All right, very common misconception about training and meditation. We might feel if we get distracted, we're not doing it right, we're not good enough. No, that's not the act of noticing and bringing back. That's meditation. That's what we're training in. So don't worry about how often you have to bring your attention back. That's the training. That's why we're here, right? So this is meditation on your breath, or breathing meditation. Right? And like I said, just because I think it's really important, if you did miss last week, go check it out, because you can use anything as your object of meditation. Right? You can get a little creative with it. Okay, so let's do some breathing meditation together. Now, you'll notice, maybe you can't tell, but I'm in a chair. I'm not on the floor. You do not need to sit on the floor cross-legged, whatever, to meditate. If that is comfortable to you, go ahead. You can be in whatever seating arrangement you want. You can lay down. You can stand up if you want. I don't think I've tried that one, but I like sitting, I guess. But you can do whatever you want, right? Just get comfy. Right? The idea here is to be really, it's not has to be the most comfortable you've ever been in your life, but we don't want to be uncomfortable, because what's going to happen? We're going to be focusing on how uncomfortable we are, which is a distraction from our breath. Right? So just find a nice little spot that's comfy, and you can go ahead and close your eyes, and I'm going to lead us through, it'll probably be about 5-minute breathing meditation. Okay. Whenever you start a meditation, take a moment and check in with yourself. Literally ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What is my mind up to? Maybe your mind's busy. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're feeling happy. Maybe you're feeling a little melancholy. Whatever it is, it does not matter. We're not doing anything about this. We are just noticing. We are an observer of our own mind. This is an exercise in mindfulness, a word you probably have heard many times. Mindfulness is an active awareness of your own thoughts, moment to moment, for the very intentional purpose of responding skillfully to those very thoughts. So take a moment, check in. Having done that, we can now make a promise to ourselves. We can make a choice, set an intention. The intention being to focus exclusively on your own breath for the next few moments. Breathing in breathing out very gently and very naturally. You do not need to alter the way that you normally breathe. You do not need to take big, deep inhales or forcefully exhale air. However, you normally breathe, just do that in and out. Allow yourself to relax a little bit into your seat. At some point, your attention will drift. No big deal. This is what our minds do. They think. Whenever you notice your attention no longer exclusively on your breath, we can just say not right now to those thoughts. Doesn't matter what the thoughts are. We're just going to say not right now. And then bring your attention back to breathing. Back to following each breath in and out, very gently and very naturally. Single pointedly focused on every moment of every breath. See if you can follow the journey of the air. As you breathe in, can you follow that air entering your body? Just imagine it. Visualize it entering your body with each in-breath. And what about when you exhale? Can you imagine that air releasing from your body back into the atmosphere where it instantly dissipates? A moment to moment interest in breathing in and out. Very gently, very naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath whenever you notice it drifting. This process of choosing to focus single pointedly on your own breath, noticing when your attention drifts, and then being able to bring your attention back to breathing, that is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to become familiar with peacefulness, calmness, your naturally relaxed state. You're training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. And right now, the only thing that you want to focus on is breathing in and breathing out, very gently and very naturally. Just for the last few moments, just enjoy sitting here breathing. Don't have to think about anything. Just be here. Take some time for yourself. Okay. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hello, welcome back. So this is an example of breathing meditation. 3 steps, right? Now, might not be the easiest 3 steps. Instructionally pretty straightforward, but if this is new to you, which I know for many of you it is, you might be like, wow, my mind is all over the place. Like, I'm thinking about so many things, that's to be expected, right? Your mind has basically been doing and thinking whatever it wants, whenever it wants, forever, right? It's that kind of analogy of training a pet, right? And so then here we are. We're like, okay, let's do this thing called meditation where we sit here and we focus single pointedly on our breath. And then we're like, what the heck? Why can't my mind do this? Your mind's like, wait, what are we doing here? I think about 6,000 things every second. Now you want me to think about one? That's not happening. Right? There's resistance. So this is just a practice, and that's why I like this analogy of learning to walk or ride a bike or anything, like learning a new language. Like at first it can be challenging, right? We have to put a lot of effort into this, right? But as time goes on, as our familiarity increases with this activity, what happens? We don't have to try so hard. And the same thing will happen here. We'll be able to just kind of settle in, right? So this is a practice, meditation practice, and it is quite a slow burn, which is important to, I think, recognize, because a lot of us, myself included, seek out meditation to help with very specific things that we want to change about our life. And sometimes we want to change them very quickly. Yeah, we don't like them. I got into meditation for clinical anxiety and depression. It's not the most comfortable feeling. I would like it to go away. And I can tell you that this has helped me immensely, but it is quite a slow burn, right? So we got to be patient with ourselves, right? We got to be a little patient when we're trying this new thing. Now, if you're totally brand new, I have a lot of videos you can check out on my YouTube channel about routine building, like how can we find a way to fit in meditation in your own busy life. Like last week's class was really good for that. There's a bunch of others. That would be a good next step to start to think about, okay, well, how can I make this work for me in my own life? Right? Cool. Antonio, Keith, in the last meditation we did about anger, I was trying to tell you I managed to let the small things go. Yeah, so that's great. And like this mentality of like, kind of don't sweat the small stuff, let the small things go, right? This comes in time, right? This comes in time. And maybe I'll see if I can put together a class on that. It's been a while since I taught that specifically. Maybe I'll teach that in one of the coming weeks. That's a really good one. All right. Thanks, Antonio. Okay, so we're going to talk about now one of my favorite types of meditation. It's a gratitude meditation. Now, I know you hear that word. Some of you are like, eye roll, This concept of gratitude is sometimes thrown around a lot. And even though I'm using that name, it's like a good way to kind of describe it. There's some nuance to like what we're actually going to do with this meditation, right? So like first, let's just think about what this word gratitude means, right? Grateful for something. Right? Recognizing the importance of something or someone, right? Or a situation or something like that, right? Recognizing, which is a really interesting word, and it kind of calls back to, we very, very briefly touched on mindfulness, checking in with ourselves, learning how to recognize, recognition of importance, recognition of kindness is what this is all about. And to kind of combine it with what Antonio was saying, this is, recognizing the importance of things starts to shift what is really important and what is not, etc. Right? Really, really important activity. Right? Andre, important to think about gratitude. Easy to forget about it. Yes. And I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. When I started this, I've been meditating a very long time. When I started, I was like, this is corny. I don't want to do this. I was always cynical, younger and cynical. I don't want to do this, but as I have learned to train in this, I don't know that there's anything more valuable, right? And hopefully after today, you'll see why, because it is a very practical meditation. We can actually do this without meditating. And it has caused a very large mind shift for me. And it was something that I was like not into when I started, right? So, we gotta give it a chance, right? I got taught that lesson, right? Okay. So we now have kind of established recognizing the importance of something or someone or situation is kind of this gratitude. So like, what is some examples, or what are some examples of things that we're grateful for, right? Sometimes the things, right? Our job, our house, our favorite show, we're grateful for all these things, right? Sometimes it can be a little bit more abstract, right? Like our health, right? Grateful for our health. The interesting thing about all of these things, they come from other people. Other people are intimately involved in all of these things, making all of those examples possible. Whatever example you are thinking of, somebody is involved, right? People. So sometimes we actually are just straight up grateful for people. Usually, who are those people? Parents, friends, right? Maybe I don't know, even acquaintances sometimes, right? Work crew, right? Really grateful for them. There's a pretty tight list of people that come to mind when we just kind of instinctively think, who is really important in my life? It's a pretty tight group, right? Can we widen it? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let me catch up a little bit on some of the comments. Laura, I started listing a few things I was grateful for when I journaled. Really helped me shift my mindset to be more positive. Yes. So it is so easy to, and like, I don't know why, but it just seems like our nature, human nature, to focus on negative. This could be better. This shouldn't be like this, right? Like that's a very familiar, there's that word again. That's a very familiar way of thinking to us, right? Our mind is super familiar with focusing on negative things. It takes effort for us to, as Laura was saying, like shift to think about positive. It takes effort, right? But wouldn't it be awesome if, it was as easy to think about positive things as we do all those things that are, we want to change about ourselves. There's no reason why we can't. It's just training our mind. Right? Antonio, that's great. Doing this, focusing on your breath when like you're going to sleep and stuff, really great way to go to sleep. I also haven't done a class on meditation to help sleep in a while, so I'm going to add that to the list. Got a little list going here. Okay, so sometimes we're appreciative and grateful and recognize the importance of things. Sometimes it's people, right? But that list is relatively small, like compared to the number of people in the world, which is quite a lot. That list is pretty small, and the reason that list is actually pretty small is we don't really think about how some of the less regular actors in our movie of our life play a really critical role in all of these things that we do, right? So that is going to be what we meditate on today, right? I want to actually use this example of a movie because I think it's a really great analogy of how we go about our day. So I assume you've all watched at least one movie in your life, right? Did you stick around for the credits? Not usually. I mean, I don't really stick around for them that often, right? And if I do, usually, why? It's like, man, that was a really great movie. That particular supporting lead actor or actress in there was so good. I want to know who they are. They made the whole movie. You say that like, oh, they made the whole movie like that, like without them, like, nah. Right? And so then we're watching the credits and we're like, oh, there they are. They were great. And then we go and look up their other stuff and, we watch their movies and we become a fan. Right? Now, if you stay around longer than just the beginning names in the credits, right? We start to notice some very interesting things. Mainly that there is an incredibly large amount of people who worked on this movie, right? I mean, the list is, it almost seems unfathomable how many people were involved, right? As we're going down, and then we start to hit things like, oh, the boom mic technician. You know what that is? You know what a boom mic is? You ever see like somebody's got the stick with the microphone, like the fuzzy microphone at the end? That's boom mic tech. We don't really think of them as being an integral part of us liking this movie. But have you ever seen a movie with really bad audio? It's not that enjoyable, right? So here is somebody who is relatively low down the credits list, right? To the point where we might not even notice them. But without them, without their kindness, their effort, this movie would not be as enjoyable as it was. Right? Yes, film and video technicians. There's so many. It's wild. And I don't get a lot of credit. So our life kind of operates in the same way. So if we think about our life as like a movie, and let's we're kind of thinking about all the people, cast of characters in our movie, and all the people who are involved in making it happen, and we start going down that list from the top, right? Oh, interestingly enough, we're number one. We're the most important. There we are, right at the top, the lead actor and actress. That's us. And then what? Mom and dad, brother and sister, cousins, best friends. Yeah. All right, going down the list. Work crew. Our work crew is in there, right? What about like if you go to get coffee, like your local barista. Are they on there? We probably forgot to include them, but then we see their name on there and we're like, oh yeah, they're great. And then we keep going down the list. What about, I don't know, person, the I don't know. I keep like drawing a blank on it. Like the sanitation, like they pick up like the trash, right? Like, are they on there? They're like super important, Otherwise, we would just have all this trash everywhere. They're really important for our day. We don't think about them. Now, it turns out that if we let this credits list roll on and on and on, we start to realize something really interesting. That everyone is actually very intimately involved in our life, right? So if we think about something like if we have a car, right? Okay. We bought our car from a dealership, or if we bought it used, we bought it from, somebody. Cool. Thank you. This is a great car. I love this car. Thank you. You were a very important part of my life. Now I have this car. But what about the people who made the parts? What about the people who tested the airbags? What about the people who, mined for the materials that went into making these parts? Like, there are countless people in the credits list, really far down in our mind, that actually are wildly critical for all of the amazing things that we have accomplished, do, love, enjoy, experience. Right? And so you're like, okay, cool. Okay, that's a cool way of thinking, but like, why? Why even bother thinking about this? So, if your best friend, who you're like, oh man, they're my best friend. Like, we're besties. Do anything for them. If they do something super nice for you, what happens? You like naturally want to repay that kindness. You naturally appreciate what they've done because you recognize how important they are in your life. Now, it turns out that there's a kind of relationship here between if we recognize how important somebody is to us, our compassion for them, our gratitude for them, our willingness to help, all of these beautiful things, they don't take as much effort. They seem to come more naturally. Laura, never thought about this perspective. Yeah, me either, until I, started learning about it. But you can kind of see how, like, this is a really interesting mind shift. So what I want to do now is I want to do a meditation together. In this meditation, we are going to kind of look at our day like it was a movie. And we're going to think about some of the people. You enjoy watching the movie credits? Because since you've been an extra, this hits close to home. Then right? Even the extras are high up. There's people lower, right? So we're going to do this a meditation. This is kind of like a little snapshot of this. And the goal here is we're going to start to illuminate some of the things that we do routinely in our day, and some of the people that we couldn't actually do this without, that we hadn't really thought were really intimately involved in our life, right? If we think about our tiers of importance, centers us, then we got like friends and family, etc. And like we start to branch out. We want to get that last one, strangers, people we don't know, people we've seen once in passing, want to bring them in a little closer, right? That way we can start to more naturally feel like we want to repay their kindness. That's our goal here. That's gratitude, right? Gratitude is recognizing the importance or kindness of someone or something and having a wish to repay it, very important add-on to the original definition that we were talking about, right? We want to be there mentally to be able to repay this to them. Cool? Great. It's a beautiful meditation, so hopefully you enjoy it. First before I was a carpenter, before becoming an actor. I still have a chance. Okay, so once again, we're going to sit comfortably in whatever seating arrangement you prefer. And we're going to start with just a very short breathing meditation. I just want to get a little bit relaxed again. We've been doing a lot of talking. And then I'm going to guide us through this gratitude meditation. You don't have to worry too much about it. You just kind of follow along. It's a little bit of like a, imaginative using our mind type of thing. Okay? All right. So you can close your eyes. Take a moment and check in with yourself. How are you feeling in this moment? We're not comparing it to before. Before is done. Don't worry about that. Just now. How are we feeling? We are an observer. We are practicing, honing our skills of recognition. We are practicing mindfulness. Having done that, you can now turn your attention to your breath once again, just to relax a little bit. We're breathing in and we're breathing out. Very gently and very naturally. And whenever you notice your attention drifting, no big deal. We can just say not right now to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. And bring your attention back to your own breath, back to following it in and out. This is an example of breathing meditation. Meditating where our breath is the object of our focus. But we can meditate on anything, even an idea, a concept. So, to close out our session today, we are going to do a meditation on gratitude. We're going to meditate on this concept of gratitude. When you woke up this morning, where were you? Maybe in your home or your apartment. Who built that home or apartment? Who made the tools that were used to build that home or apartment? Countless other people involved, critical in building this space that is kind of like our sanctuary, our little escape where we feel comfortable, peaceful every morning. How kind of them to build this for us. Maybe you woke up in your bed, nice comfy bed, pillows and a mattress, soft sheets. Who made that mattress? Who made those sheets? Who made the machines that helped make those sheets? Countless other people. Intimately involved in making our bed so that we can wake up rested every morning, ready to take on our day the best we can. Maybe after waking up, we took a shower to get ready for the day. Who ran all that plumbing to get that water to your shower? Somebody spent quite a number of years of their life inventing this concept of a shower where you, at the flick of a wrist, can alter the temperature of the water to your liking. And that person had a lot of help to do it. Also, you can enjoy your shower every morning. How kind of them to dedicate so much time of their life to something that is so comforting to us. Maybe after your shower, you ate some breakfast. Maybe a piece of fruit. Think of all the people responsible, necessary for getting that fruit into your hand. Someone had to plant the seeds, tend to the crops, select the best produce. Someone else packages them using materials created specifically for packaging. Then perhaps that fruit was put on a truck, driven from very far away by someone who was away from their family for a long time to get that piece of fruit into a grocery store managed by more people, painstakingly organized, so that you can enter the grocery store, know exactly where to look for the piece of fruit you want, purchase it, and then go about your day. Countless individuals that we never really think about. Incredibly important and necessary for every bite we take of that piece of fruit. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but I paid for that fruit with my money. I paid for my house with my money. My shower, my water, I pay for it with my money. Where did you get that money? From your job, your employer who hired you over countless other candidates. They took a chance on you. You might be thinking, yeah, well, I was the best candidate, so that's why they chose me. Who taught you the skills that made you the best candidate? Who taught you how to read, how to write, how to present yourself in public, how to write a resume? We were not born with any of those skills. They were taught to us by teachers, our parents, friends, media, books, countless people involved in teaching us the skills that made us the best candidate. If we were to give back everything that someone else played an important role in making possible for us, what would we have left? Nothing. Even our body comes from our parents, their love, everything we have, are, do, accomplish. Other people are integral to that. We are connected to everyone at a very deep level, even if we don't realize it. So for the last few moments here, I'd like you to just pick out one part of your day, one thing you did today, and use this type of thinking to imagine, realize, recognize, and express gratitude for all the people involved in making that happen. Okay, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. So this is an example of, it's more contemplation. You might hear this word contemplation. Meditation and contemplation are kind of the same thing. Contemplation more often describes meditating on like an idea or concept. So that's kind of what we were doing here. Wow. Oh, that's a great response, right? That's a great response. Yeah. So now this is interesting, right? Because when we think about meditation, we think about, I'm going to relax, right? But here we are meditating on something that is like, man, I never really thought about that, right? But it kind of, it makes sense, right? Like all of these things people are a part of, I'm connected to them in some way, right? Like they are important to me, right? I love my bed. I'm speaking for me personally. I love sleeping. That's an important part of my life, right? And so the people involved in making that happen, you know what? I'm moving them up the credits list, right? So this is why I really like this meditation, because it is very applicable to do without meditating. We don't need to sit here with our eyes closed thinking about these things, right? The next time you go get coffee from someplace, we can think, let me think about all the people that may put this cup of coffee in my hand, right? I'm in your credits list. Oh, that's awesome. You guys are in mine, right? Like, seriously, like we're all connected. right? And gratitude, kindness, like all the, like being compassionate, helping, all those things. Look, I get it. Sometimes we're like, I don't want to do that. Those things become less daunting when we are recognizing the importance of kind of repaying that kindness to somebody who has done a lot for us, right? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the meditation. Yeah. So this is something you can do if you if you're like, this is cool. This is cool, Keith. Like, do this outside of meditation. At one point in your day, just be like, look at an object and be like, oh, I wonder how many people are involved in making that thing. It's wild to start to think in this way, right? And it does lead to a very natural appreciation of people, right? Thank you, Julie. That's very kind of you. You guys are the best. So that's all for today. That's a lot of information, I know. So if you did enjoy yourself, I encourage you to come back. Now, next week, I will not be doing a live stream. I'm taking a little week off to recharge for myself. And then the following week, I will be back. So you got a week off, all right? Extra time for you to go and do this gratitude practice out in the wild. But I do encourage you to come back. We'll talk about something else. There are a lot of great suggestions here. If you do have a suggestion of something you would like to see a class on, you can always email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat right now. You can email me anything, any question that you have while you're meditating on your own, building a routine. I'm writing down my email and concentrating. Oh, see, I almost made a spelling mistake. Okay. Keith@meditationbreaks.com. Also, thank you to anyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel during the live stream. Really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. If you haven't and you'd like to, a lot of benefits for doing so. All my old videos are available. You want to go check out Meditation for Sleep. It's up there. You also get little reminders whenever I go live. It doesn't cost anything. It's just clicking a button. Boop. And then you get to see my face a little more, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know. So I appreciate anyone who chooses to do that or has chosen to do that in the past, right? You're going to attend every week from now on? That's what I love to hear. I'm glad you had a good first experience. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Thank you. And lastly, I do teach one-on-one private instruction. So if you really want to try to move forward with your meditation practice and you want to focus on something very specific, email me and we can talk about, finding a time to do that. I do all of these virtually. So, it's pretty laid back. We'll find a time that works. Also, I don't know if anyone here is in the Denver, Colorado area. I'm in Idaho Springs, Colorado. Nobody knows what that is. Little town. I'm starting to teach in person regularly at a place in Idaho Springs. So if you are from Colorado and you'd like to come see me in person, that should be kicking up in the next couple of weeks. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I can put that information in the description of my live stream moving forward once that actually starts to happen. But I'm really excited for that, and it'd be cool to meet anyone who is local. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to be here. I love teaching. I love sharing this information and meditating with you guys. And talk about gratitude. I couldn't teach if there was nobody willing to be here, right? And so it's a great connection that we have, and I am super appreciative of you guys dedicating your very precious time. And I mean that sincerely. Time is precious, and you are deciding to spend an hour with me, and that means a lot to me. So thank you. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. All right? Take care.